following podcast may contain spoilers for Batman vs. Superman, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Game of Thrones.
Hello, welcome to the Geeks a Week podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Whoosh.
I'm Paul.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Andrew.
And today we have a pretty stuffed podcast overall. There's a lot of big stuff coming up within the next couple of weeks. But I think first we're going to start with something that happened about a month ago that was a terrible, terrible disappointment. Not an unexpected disappointment, but a disappointment
disaster,
nonetheless.
You might say.
Yes, a disaster in every sense of the word, and that was Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. What
Dawn
the
of
fuck?
Martha.
What the fuck went wrong with that movie?
Rush to the Justice League, more like.
Paul, we'll start with you since you have more experience with the cinematic DC stuff than any of us do, because all we've seen is that shit fest, and you've seen maybe some of the good stuff that they've actually made, assuming there is any.
Well, by resident expert, you mean I watched Smallville, and that's it.
Well, that's more than the rest of us.
Well, I guess I had the most problem with Superman himself, because I had problems with, Man of Steel. And just the way they portrayed him.
I enjoyed
As a killer? Because he killed people? Is that why?
As everything, the way they portrayed his dad. I think they did okay with Martha, but just I know, right? But even not so much just Superman, just in the movie Batman vs. Superman, the entire plot, the writing, the script, just none of it went together or made any sense at all.
All right, so we'll start with when did you guys know it was going to be bad? I knew when it was going to be bad when the bats lifted Bruce Wayne, child Bruce Wayne, out of the cave. Yes, there was another Batman origin story where his fucking parents died. There are 3 people in the whole history of comics that stay dead. Those are Ben Parker and Batman's parents. That's it. You don't need to tell people these people are going to die, because that's their sole purpose for existing, is to be killed. They motivate the characters. The problem with this is we see Bruce Wayne parents dying, and then we cut to, I'm guessing it's like 30, 35 years in the future, because he's a pretty old Batman in this one, played by Ben Affleck. And he's Batman. Just there's no explanation.
He's already fought the Joker.
Yeah,
but there's,
he's already fought the
there's
Joker.
only subtle hints towards that.
Robin might already be dead in here. We don't even know.
It does seem sort of weird that they'd put this movie so far in the future and then have other movies set behind it, like chronologically.
Yeah, this makes no sense at all. But
Or they just made those movies first.
I knew that it was going to be bad when the bats lifted Bruce Wayne out of the cave.
Yep.
I
You
told
looked
Zach,
over and you said they're going to do that, and then they did it.
and then
you
they
said,
did,
that's
and
it, I'm out.
And I stopped enjoying it from that moment.
Well, and I'm sure while you were saying it, you thought it was so far-fetched it wouldn't actually happen.
I did. When I comment on shit like that in the movies, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. This is the only time I've been right when I've said something like that. And it's the worst possible thing that could have happened. That was, and I think, I don't know if I asked you, Paul, like 2 times while watching, or maybe it was Andrew sitting next to me. Are you guys enjoying this? Because I wasn't. There's 2 times I've almost walked out of a movie. Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I stayed because Gwen died. Yes. And this movie. And if you guys wouldn't have been there, I would have left after 15 minutes. Probably would have asked for my money back.
I mean, it wasn't like I was engrossed in it, like it was such an awesome movie, but it was okay. It had okay parts.
Some of the action sequences were tolerable, yeah, but that was about
Zack
the
Snyder
thing.
does do good action scenes, but everything else was shit. I mean,
the
it was
storyline.
shit that
Well,
was worse.
there was a couple things I thought were pretty good.
Go ahead. Let's hear what was actually good about this, because there's nothing. You're done
So
talking.
near the beginning when Bruce Wayne's in Metropolis while Superman and Zod are fighting, that was very cool.
But they didn't use it. Go ahead, list your other stuff, and then we'll talk about each
they
one.
didn't. The redeeming features are that some things are cool.
Yeah, I thought that the
Cool,
fight
in
scene in the
quotation
Mad
marks.
Max style wasteland area was kind of cool, but that was it. And it didn't even happen, so it doesn't count.
Well, there's really no explanation of why it was happening. They're pulling from so many parts of the universe that had even been touched until this movie.
Right.
Is there anything else that you liked, Andrew, or that was the only...
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the part where Batman saves Martha.
Martha? Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
That was pretty neat. That was probably the only one that comes even close to being plot
Honestly,
relevant.
better than any fight scene in the Nolan Batman trilogy. So
Yeah, he tells good stories, but his actual the fight scenes in there were bad. There wasn't a lot of them. He didn't fight a lot. It was mostly more psychological stuff. But any of them, the Bane one was tolerable. In The Dark Knight Rises, that was fine. But other than that, there was not a lot of good fighting. The camera moves really weird, and when the camera's far enough away that you can actually see what's going on, you can just see all the henchmen staying around watching, so Batman fights them one at a time. Like, this is supposed to be, a real portrayal. I know we're talking about Nolan Batman during this, but it still pisses me off, because there's some bad things about those movies.
Right.
And these are supposed to be realistic. Like, if you're fighting someone, you want to win, and there's 6 of you and 1 of him, you're not going to wait and fight one at a time. That's stupid. That's not how you win. That's a great point, and it's really apparent in The Dark Knight Rises, especially at the very end, when he's fighting Bane on the steps of the one. I don't even know what building it was. Something that was important because it looked like a Roman thing. It had that architecture.
courthouse or something.
Probably something like that, and it's really apparent when there's a ton of henchmen that Batman's supposed to be fighting, and they attack one at a time. But yeah,
It was predictable too.
It was.
It was kind of predictable.
And they did the worst foreshadowing that I think I might have ever seen. I can't imagine a 4th grader writing worse than this. I really can't.
Batman
Well, they already
right?
crammed way too much foreshadowing into it.
And then they didn't even do it a good way. They had a fucking Wonder Woman just watch like 1-minute clips on the future Justice League characters
with their official symbol on the file names.
And now
Really?
what? Are they going to have to do origin stories as
No.
prequels for them?
No.
Just going to be
There's
going
going to be Suicide Squad, and then there's a
Justice
Wonder
League
Woman movie,
Part
and
1?
then I think there's Justice League. Yeah, there's no
Then
origin
there'll
story,
be
no nothing.
an Aquaman movie,
Right.
and
Unless they tweak stuff, we'll see. Because
I think Cyborg's supposed to get his own
Yeah,
movie.
probably. I'm sure
It's a stupid name for a superhero, isn't it?
it is.
Speaking of Wonder Woman,
That's what he is.
that's one of the parts of the movie I did like.
She was good, but she didn't get enough screen time.
She looked good, and her gear was awesome. Her
Like
fighting,
her design or her physical appearance from the actress.
well, her female perspective.
Form.
Yeah, so that was nice. But no, her costume was nice.
It was.
Shield and sword, very cool. All of it was very cool, and you wanted to know so much more about her. But then that was the problem. The movie's not called Wonder Woman.
It's not.
And she stole the thunder, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
The
Right
one
about
scene
that.
I did like, I did enjoy when she comes in and blocks the shot or whatever. Like that was her. She has a really cool theme song.
Awesome.
But the whole setup with it, like I mentioned when Andrew said he liked the beginning, that part is by and far the only part of the movie that's good. Mm-hmm. And they don't even use it. No, it really is. It's really the only good part of the movie that's taken as like the whole scene, not just a single shot or two. But they have Batman watch Superman and Zod fight and destroy the city. I don't know how many thousands of people are dead. Probably a shit ton of them. And Batman's pissed. Bruce Wayne, Batman, is pissed off at Superman. That makes sense. All right, that's fine. That's a reason for Batman to fight Superman. I get it. Go with that. But they don't have a compelling reason for Superman to fight Batman except for, we have your mom, you better bring me his head or I'm going to kill her. It would have been better, and I think I saw this in a review of the movie, so I'm not going to take credit for this idea. But it would have been far better because Lex Luthor wants to kill Superman, or Lex Luthor Jr., whatever the hell his name is. Lex Joker Jr., let's call him.
Yeah, that was the whole problem.
Lexi
in itself.
Eisenberg.
Yeah, really. But it's not like he did a bad job at acting. He was given a terrible character to act.
Well, just like Ben Affleck, he did good acting. Just what they gave him to work with was garbage.
Batman killed and used guns. You're fucked. Like that's no. Batman has killed. I looked it up. Batman has killed one time in like official continuity comics, and that got retconned. So he hasn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he blew people up with the Batmobile and
Oh yeah, and
that flyer or whatever.
yeah, that was stupid. But they should have had Batman and Lex Jr. team up to take down Superman. okay, now you have these two people working against Superman. He has a compelling reason to have to fight Batman because obviously Lex Luthor Jr., whatever his name is not going to be able to fight Superman, so Batman fights him. All right, that makes sense. As a contingency, Lex Luthor goes behind his back and makes Doomsday. And then Batman sees what's happening and goes, oh my god, this is just what I was complaining about before. And as opposed to becoming best friends, like they do in the movie, well, they just become uneasy partners, at least for the first part. But instead, we have a 5-minute sequence of them throwing each other around, and Batman basically wins the whole time.
The actual versus.
The actual versus was...
The whole reason for the movie. Roughly 5 minutes.
I don't even know if it was 5 full minutes. And it was basically just Batman using kryptonite grenades, so to neutralize Superman. And then the spear. And then the spear's going to kill him.
Which, I guess, was only really made to fight Doomsday.
Yeah, really. And then because their moms, I'm not kidding you, because their moms have the same first name, they're best friends. Just, never be separated again. It's almost like they said, all right, we want Batman and Superman to fight. But, all right, so how are we going to make them not fight? How are we going to team them up for Justice League? We'll figure it out in post. Literally in post-production. We'll fix it in post. That's honestly what it felt like, because that is the stupidest reason. Your mom's dead. Get over it, Batman. Your mom's been killed billions of times in movies before. We're sick of seeing it. Get over it. It was just bad. I'm not. And
then it's this movie. He's already fought the Joker, and he's still this torn up about. Is that still what motivates him? I guess.
I'm assuming it is, and that's fine. Using it as motivation, like, hey, these criminals killed my parents. Well, I don't want this to happen again.
Obviously, with Batman's behavior, he's not like the most emotionally stable person.
Yeah.
There are theories where he's crazy, though, right?
Well,
as crazy as the Joker.
Well, he did see his parents die in front of him when he's like 6 or 7 years old. That's going to F with anybody no matter what. But then you have to portray that consistently and actually use it. He's crazy, so he becomes a Batman, and that's it. Well, okay. What? I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. Why stop?
So a lack of motivation is a lot of the film's problems with Lex Luthor and Batman.
Yes, which I feel is because the studio wasn't motivated other than money. Everybody saw Marvel, the Avengers actually worked because people didn't think it was going to work, and it did. And then they immediately said, we want that money, and we want it yesterday. No, Marvel spent 4 years, and how many films were before that? You have Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Captain America.
5 before Avengers.
5 before Avengers. They spent 4 years and 5 films, so probably close to about $700 million just filming these movies, plus the time invested to get to the Avengers. And it paid off. But everybody wants that money now. They didn't want to build it up. And I think it could have been much better if there was a Batman solo movie. Alright, I can get over the fact that you're going to show his origin again, but let me see more of him, not... My parents died. 35 years later, I brand thugs. I'm tough and grizzly. That's stupid. That's not compelling. I don't care about him. I wanted him to lose, and I don't even like Superman. I did like Man of Steel, but that was just because I really like the way Zack Snyder filmed stuff. And I think Zack Snyder is good at action stuff. This just didn't have any good action stuff for him to film, aside from that, technically opening sequence with Bruce Wayne driving through the city while Superman and Zod have a pissing contest.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to see any more of the DC movies unless we see above 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean,
that's a high bar.
I feel like I'd probably go see it, like Justice League or Wonder Woman, maybe.
I'm not too excited for Suicide Squad at all, though.
I don't care, because I think the problem is, and I think Will Smith is a good actor, but I think he's going to be by and far the main character of that movie. It's not going to be like a team-up kind of thing.
Well, it's already feeling kind of weird for me, and I know I can't compare everything in Smallville, this is how it is, but but Deadshot in Smallville's like Western, he wears cowboy boots with spurs, he wears a cowboy hat and a long duster.
Is that...
And, what?
No, I was just I didn't know if that's how he was in the comics, but you...
I assume that's what he'd be like in the comics, but this one's obviously the Will Smith's an upgraded modern... Yeah,
he almost looks like he's a mercenary as opposed to some kind of cowboy, which I think
he
cowboy
looks closer to Cyborg than...
Right, yeah.
probably does.
Honestly, I
Sitting
think,
up on the pegboard, getting.
honestly, I think the Deadshot design they're going for is aping Deathlock from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Probably. Yeah,
Oh.
where's he been? I guess maybe we'll talk about that later some other time. But
May contain spoilers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I mean, that's like 2 years ago, so if people haven't read... The spoiler limit is like 6 months after it's been out on DVD or Blu-ray. So after
I
that,
figure
like...
the week of it comes out on
No,
theater.
no,
The week
I'll-
after, anyway?
No, I can understand if you can't go that weekend or whatever, but if it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, and you don't have it within 6 months, like, you don't care, and spoilers are, screw you, basically. So, well, now that we have that shit out of the way, let's actually talk about something that's good, and that's been Marvel's portrayal of comic superheroes in movies, and in this case, specifically Captain America, because he has a new movie coming out in 13 days as of recording this. So we're all hyped for that, right? Everybody?
Well, we just got done
Oh, yeah.
watching them all.
We watched all the Captain America, the solo movies, and of course the Avengers.
I didn't.
Well, you didn't because you're a douche, but that's irrelevant.
I'm gonna watch all the movies.
And
See, I kind of wanted to, but there's no time.
Nope.
Well, I'm on Guardians of the Galaxy already, so
Fuck.
But when he says watch, he means put in the background while he grinds in Diablo. So I mean, watch. We kind of paid attention, somewhat.
I've
Although we
watched them
did,
so many times already.
yeah, really, especially Age of Ultron, because when I don't, what am I gonna do? I have the digital copy on my Xbox, so I pull it up and I skip to the parts where Ultron talks. So, so
As it stands, Civil War is at 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
as of right now, after isn't it 30 or 50? I think it's like 34 odd
Let's see
reviews.
if I can.
So that's really good. Deadpool didn't even start out
32.
that high. 32. Okay, so that's pretty alright. That means
Only one person said
has-
rotten.
But all right, I guess don't read the review because it might.
I
Spoil
won't. It says 31 fresh and 1 rotten.
I
But
bet
is
he's
it-
a guy who just thinks of superhero movies.
That's what I'm wondering if it's not some kind of superhero fatigue. And I
And out of 100,000 ratings, 99% of us want to see it.
And I've heard that the same thing with Batman versus, well, the opposite really, that there were a bunch of paid accounts or things that got set up to give Batman versus Superman like 10 out of 10s on IMDb. And
Oh yeah,
now
like
there's-
what Hillary Clinton's doing.
right, and I'm
And that's
hearing-
really common for products, too, and movies.
right. So that's why I really don't trust IMDb. Like I go on there and I rate a movie, but when it comes to actual user ratings, I really don't give a shit because most of the time they're pretty accurate. Like you have things like Empire Strikes Back, the Godfather movies are in the top, The Dark Knight.
Well, those are
fucking-
old movies.
Some of them are. Some
Yeah,
of them
the
are.
two you mentioned.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Empire Strikes Back isn't the best Star Wars movie because it's the best movie. We're getting way
It's the
off
best Star
topic.
Wars movie.
It is. We're getting way off topic here. So, with Captain America: Civil War coming out, we have two teams fighting against each other. Team Cap, who's the right team, and then Team Fuckwits, who's the wrong team.
Team Iron Man is the more correct team.
Well, we'll see. Because
I mean, I like all the Avengers, but I tend to lean more towards Iron Man.
I do, too. Iron Man's got all the
I
gadgets.
mean, he had
on
the
his
first
suit.
movie too.
Yeah, that's what got you into the Avengers. Wish.
yeah,
I
that's
mean, I know
true.
Cap's your favorite, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
by far. Like that's not even a question. He's so far.
And
above.
you gotta pick the team with Scarlett Johansson.
Well, we'll see. She might flip flop.
I know. Well, I'm predicting that maybe 1 or 2 people will flip flop.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
You know,
how it
by
goes.
will or by force. I guess I'm not sure yet.
But it does. It feels basically like Avengers 2.5. I mean, the only people that
Oh, yeah.
aren't in it are the Hulk and Thor, and we actually have new characters being introduced. Ant-Man's actually going to be in here. He's going to get to team up for his first time, so he's a new character, I guess, technically, even though he's had his own solo film. And then we have Black
Crossbones.
Panther and Crossbones, who's not
Alive.
part of
Been
the
in the
Avengers.
movies, wasn't he?
Well, his character is in not
He was
called
the Hydra,
Yeah,
the
he
Hydra
was.
guy who led Strike Team. And,
Yeah, that's their name. Is
Or
Strike
Winter
Two.
Two.
Soldier.
Yes, he's in there, but he wasn't Crossbones then.
But it's the same actor and the same
Right. Playing the
in-universe
same
character.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, but yeah, it's basically Avengers 2.5 just without Thor and Hulk. So, and the last Captain America movie had a pretty pretty big twist in it. And I'm guessing this movie is going to have another big twist in it. And I know a lot of people on the internet are saying, oh, Cap's going to die. Chris Evans only has, contracts for blah, blah, blah movies. By the way, he would have at least one more contract as of Civil War. So there'd be no reason to kill him off in this one if he signed on for one more movie. Minimum, there might be more. And I don't think it's going to be him. Because he still has to lift Mjolnir. And with Thor not being in the movie, that means Mjolnir's not either. So how can he lift a hammer that's not there? But, and I don't think it's going to be anybody dying. I mean, any of the Avengers. I think it's going to be something else where maybe this whole registration thing, the Soviet Accords is what they're calling it. It's the Mutant Registration Act in the comics. Marvel doesn't have the rights to the comics. I'm wondering if that's actually going to go through. And that Team Cap is going to lose, so to speak. And that there is going to be this setup where they do have to be registered and do have some kind of, or not registered, but some sort of governmental oversight body that tells them when they can do stuff and when they can't and what they can do to take care of some sort of threat.
Right.
And it's funny because, I guess, since it is a Captain America movie, I'm going to consider Iron Man the villain right now until I actually see it. Villain in quotation
well, I suppose
marks.
he is, but...
That people have... Critics, audiences have been complaining about Marvel's weak villains. They basically only have Loki, who's been the real standout one. I personally liked Ultron. I know a lot of people didn't, but I did.
Loki's the only one that's been in more than one film.
That's true. That's true.
So that's probably why he seems the strongest.
And I wonder why they can't... I mean, they have to feel like they win. I get it, but you can win without killing someone. I don't know why they have to do all these one-off villains. Like the Mandarin, I guess we'll see what happens with Iron Man 3, because the Mandarin, there's a shot, I think it's on the Thor the Dark World Blu-ray. There is a Marvel one-shot entitled All Hail the King, where Trevor Slattery, who was pretending to be the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, gets busted out of prison by someone who is upset at him for stealing his name. So I wonder if the Mandarin actually is a real person. And there may... I don't think there will be, but I would not be totally blown away if there was some sort of mention in Doctor Strange of something like that. We'll see. I really doubt it, because I don't think he ever has... Right,
because the Mandarin's power is supposed to come from magic rings, right?
Right, magic rings, and so is Doctor Strange is magic. Now, we did just get done watching Winter Soldier probably like probably about 4 hours ago now. And the Jasper Sitwell mentioned Stephen Strange. Now, that would be weird to mention his name if technically in that chronology, that timeline, he doesn't have his powers yet. So I'm wondering if Doctor Strange doesn't take place at least before the Winter Soldier.
Oh, I assume it does.
Because why would you mention... Because at that point, he would just be a doctor. He'd be an asshole, but he'd be a doctor. I don't think they would name drop a dick. Because you could name drop Tony Stark like 4 times, and that'd be way better. Because he's a way bigger dick. So I'm wondering if there isn't something where his movie takes place before this. Even right before, but before this, so they actually can become Doctor Strange and actually be some sort of threat to Hydra's vision of the world.
Though as Doctor Strange, isn't he... I don't think a rifle's going to kill him.
There hasn't been a lot of him in the comics. Where I'm at now, he hasn't had any sort of solo stuff. He's been like the second half of... what is it called? Oh, he's the second half of the Iron Man one, so he gets like 12 or 13 pages. And his has like, whoever the artist is, I don't know if it was Jack Kirby, but that is amazing, those drawings. That is the most trippy shit ever. Oh, if I lived in the 60s, I would have been so high and still reading those every month. Because those designs are great, and it looks like they're going to be doing stuff cool with that in the movies, because they have dropped the first trailer for it. But he's mortal, but he can like leave his body and move around, and his body's vulnerable. So if he were to, he can take his spirit out of his body and travel with that and go to the spirit world. But if he was...
So this is like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Maybe.
Or John Carter of Mars.
Yeah, something like that, where his body is then left vulnerable.
Would you say John Carter?
Of Mars.
Yeah.
Which is a good movie. People
that's a total shit.
Wonderful film,
Fuck you, Paul.
Oh, God.
Fuck you, Paul.
I agree with Wish.
It was. It was terrible marketing that ruined that movie. And this is relevant because it's still Disney. This is still
It's
relevant.
not really relevant.
No, not at
No,
all.
it's not.
Not in the least. They're both films, and that's it. And they both cost a lot of money. But yeah, I think he would be vulnerable, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he has any sort of abilities to actually stop bullets, or, to render himself invulnerable. But we'll have to see how they portray it, because they've obviously, can change up the power sets and what characters are able to do based on the needs of the actual media. In this case, being a feature-length film as opposed to a continuously running comic. So I'm guessing that that's going to take place before that, and I know Cap's not going to die because he has to lift Mjolnir. I know that. So I don't know.
And it can't happen because Thor's not in this movie, right?
Right, exactly. But I've seen, and I don't know.
Well, maybe Vision goes and fetches it.
It's
Very unlikely.
Does Vision have to breathe?
Isn't he a robot?
Well, yeah,
but it's
with the exoskeleton or whatever. they
no,
call it.
it's the.
he's made of
Frodo.
vibranium.
Yeah, he's got vibranium integrated into him. But
How much vibranium do they have? Because Black Panther's claws got to be made out of.
Yeah, and they must have
But he
found.
comes with the place where they mine it.
Right, but what happened, because I know in the first Avenger, because we just watched that, I don't even know if it was a week ago, it was Monday or Tuesday, wasn't it? We watched that, and Cap asks why the shield isn't standard issue armor, and...
Well, I mean, that was
that
back
was-
in the 40s.
Right, that's what I'm wondering.
So
because-
between the 40s and now, they've mined more.
And he didn't say
But
that's
how
all
much-
there is. He said that's all we've got.
Right, well, that's right.
But then how did Tony Stark get his hands on some to put in...
Well, that was years
Vision.
and years later. They
he
probably
didn't
got
put
more,
any
like they said.
vibranium in it. He made a new element, but it wasn't vibranium, because it was new.
But then how is Vision made of vibranium?
That's what I'm wondering, is because it was Helen
Ultron
Show
bought the vibranium.
Yeah. So they
The
must
guy
have...
ripped his arm off accidentally.
Oh yeah, Andy Serkis. We actually get to see him play not Golem, or not
yeah.
Caesar.
Isn't he Snoke,
I was
too?
doing homework at
Yes,
that
he
part.
does the motion capture for Snoke. I don't know if he was the voice. Probably. But he does at least the motion capture for Snoke. So he's basically always hidden behind some kind of CG mask.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He
Yeah,
actually is
really.
a pretty good... He actually is a pretty competent director. He was the second unit director for the Hobbit movies, and I think he's done some other stuff. So it's not like, once he can't act anymore, he's not going to have a future in making movies, because he will. He'll just be behind it. But yeah, I guess they would have mined some more vibranium, and they put it, he's got it, they put in Ultron, in Vision, and then, like you said, Black Panther has his vibranium claws, and if I'm not mistaken, it's been teased that his suit's going to have it in there too, because in one of the trailers, he's getting shot with a large machine gun, and doesn't seem
Not
to
really.
Right, doesn't seem to feel the effects of it. So I'm guessing that there's some vibranium at least interwoven in the suit to, protect him. So they must have found quite a bit. They must have found quite a bit of it if they can do... Because I don't know how much Vision would have, but it's got to be a decent amount. And then obviously for his claws and then to put it in the suit, they would have been a pretty decent mining operation. But you're right, he does come from the country Wakanda, or as Bruce Banner called it the first time, Wakanada. I was like, yes, name drop when they did. I go, okay, I know what's going on. Nobody else may. Well, actually, probably some people did, but I did. I knew what was happening with that.
Don't be so smug.
You are all the time. You're the last person that should talk about being smug.
Well, yeah, it's like you're stealing my job.
Well, get better at it then, and I won't have to. Oh, so 13 days away from that. I was super excited for the Winter Soldier, and I might be more excited for this, just because it's not like the Winter Soldier wasn't expected to be this big. And not only did it make a shit ton of money, especially in April. It came out in April. But it also was very, very well received by critics. It was not just this happens to be a good superhero movie. No, this happened to be a great movie that has a superhero in it. So it was nice to see sort of that genre kind of get broken away, basically. So it's not just another superhero movie. No, it happens to be a great movie that stars a guy who's really strong and can throw a shield. Which I think is helping kind of make superhero movies get considered more serious as opposed to those are just for kids. No, they can be serious. And then Warner Brothers took that too far and said, all right, well, let's just make it evil. We want you to just cry because it's so adult. Oh, you don't like it. You're just too dumb to get it. Well, nobody got it. Everybody hated it. There's another big thing coming up this weekend. Actually, tomorrow as of recording. And that's Game of Thrones Season 6. This is the first season that's being made. There's a terrible segue, but whatever. I want to start talking about this now. As excited as I am for Cap, I watch a lot of Cap. I need to kind of process and just build up that hype meter. But Game of Thrones, Season 6. This is the first season that's going to be basically completely, totally ahead of the books. There will probably be some stuff that's still borrowed from it, and they're behind in some instances. But basically everything else, they've caught up or surpassed. So, this is... I mean, a lot of the show, especially the last 2 seasons, last 2.5 seasons, has been a lot of new stuff, changes, different from the book, things like that. But this is really the first one where, okay, everything can be completely different, and we'd have no way of knowing, and, nothing to compare it to because we're past the books. I was hesitant to watch it because I read the books, and I probably didn't make up my mind until maybe early April. I decided, alright, fine. I'll just watch the show. They're both separate. There'll be enough differences that I can still enjoy both. I'm sure there'll be a lot of moments in this season where I go, holy shit, and a lot of moments when the next book comes out where I go, holy shit, because Game of Thrones is completely and totally littered with plot twists, character deaths, unexpected stuff all the time. So it should be enough to go around for both a TV show and a book to make people who see and read them say, oh shit, a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, this is probably the most relevant thing we're talking about.
Right,
since
because it's
tomorrow.
I know, I'm really
get
excited.
hype.
I don't want to stay up because I got to work Monday morning, but God, it might be worth it.
Well, what time does it air?
It'll be on at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you have HBO Now or HBO Go, it'll show up there at 9.
Like 9
9.
o'clock in 5 seconds.
Literally 9. In fact, if you skipped ahead, assuming the servers work, because I know last year they seemed to be okay, but before that, when they actually started doing it on HBO Now, they were crappy. But you could actually watch the ending of the episode before it airs because you could skip right to the end. Because you're not watching as it airs, it's literally like you're watching a digital version of the movie. Like, you can skip, or a TV show even, you can just skip right to the end, and you can see the last 5 minutes of the episode 50 minutes before people who are watching it on cable or whatever see it.
Fuck.
Not that I would recommend doing that, because that kind of ruins the whole point, since it's about the build-up.
Uh-huh.
If you watch the first episode like that, and you saw Bran get pushed out the window, I mean, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
Well, that's when you showed me the first time, I was like, well, we gotta watch the second episode now, and I was addicted. I watched like the whole season 1 and
2, I think we're out by that point.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
I mean, because when you lived here, you watched, I think you started in season 1 again or something. Then you restarted when Zach wanted to watch it.
Yep,
and
then restarted
both those
with you.
times, I just couldn't get into it. And then finally, I must have ran out of stuff on Netflix to watch. So I'm like, well, you guys are ranting and raving about it so much, I'm going to have to give it a chance. And I made it, in season 1 did have its parts where it was kind of slow going. But then by the time you got to the last, probably 4 episodes, I mean, it's just excellent. And then from there on out, God, I must have watched them all within a week.
Yeah, it's because I think by then season 3 was out, because I just got that
3. Well, no, I think we had through 3.
Yep.
Then before I was done watching 3, you got 4 on DVD.
Blu-ray. No.
Blu-ray, yeah, Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, please.
And I watched that, and then 5 was coming out. And then now it feels like we've had to wait.
Like a month ago.
Well, when it came out on TV.
Oh, yeah.
When it was airing. And then so I watched that, and now it's just been the longest wait of my life for anything.
And this is weird because this is the first time I'm going into a season not seeing the previous season at least 3 times.
See, I just got done watching about
really
a week
is.
ago. Season 5.
I thought about doing season 5, but I don't know at this point if there'd be enough time unless I did that basically straight to watch it. And I'm actually
maybe watch the last episode.
Maybe, or just read up on stuff because the books and show is different enough but similar enough to know I have the gist of it. And there'll be recaps and shit. I'll be able to figure it out. I'll be on discussions on Reddit going on all day Monday, Tuesday about, what happened? So if I don't know something, I'm sure someone will, and it will be pointed out on there. They actually do a rewatch. They do a rewatch where they do like 1 or 2 episodes a day, however many days it would take you to do it. And you can read the synopses on those as well and read the comics. So that's comments, not comics. I don't think there was.
Well, you should have. HBO was posting, I think on Facebook or something, 50 days before the 24th here, so you could watch an episode a day.
Yeah.
So a month and
Almost
2 months ago they started, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because pretty soon it's going to take, assuming they stick with 7 seasons, I
hope
don't
they
know. I want there to be 8.
You feel like you don't want it to end ever, but then, I keep going back to Smallville, that did start to get, you get too many seasons, it does start to get a little drawn out.
Because they spread it out. They just spread it out to make more money.
Well,
and I don't.
Or they run out of ideas.
Like, if there's still plot going on, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, but it
But
might not necessarily be a good storyline. There's still a plot, but it might be like a Batman versus Superman plot.
I wish, or I hope, that at some point, there wasn't any, though. That's the problem. It's not that it was a bad plot, there was none. But I actually would like to see HBO do other stuff. I keep hearing stuff like, I think the coolest thing to see would be Robert's Rebellion. I know part of its mystique is its mystery as to what happened, but that would be so cool to see what's going on, because there's enough political intrigue going on, which is one of the things I like the most in Game of Thrones.
Well, then we could see...
Edward's
sister.
Right, yeah.
Liana,
yes. And just I was
that'd
waiting for you to get the name. I was waiting for you to get the name. I would absolutely love to see...
How about the Targaryen conquest?
That was
Killing
the second
the Mad
one.
King.
Well, that's in Robert's Rebellion, yeah. That's the second thing I was going to mention is the Targaryen conquest, and seeing all these other kingdoms kneel, Starks being the last, and then Dorne just going, no, but we'll be friends, is basically what happened. So that would be really cool, too. And I think that would show Dorne in a better light, because they, just not good at all in Season 5. I really like the Sand Snakes in the book. Oberyn Martell is my favorite character in the books and the show, too. But the Sand Snakes were just not good, so they butchered Dorne, and I'm sure there's a lot of people...
I think the best part of the Sand Snakes was the chick with the boycott talking to Bronn.
And showing her in her boobs, wow.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting, she was fucking with them.
Right, but it was just like
watching them fight, and then the dialogue... I don't know how they were portrayed in the books, but...
Way better.
It didn't sit well.
They were it was weird because, in the show, they kept them as... not that they're not, like, females in there, but they're very, tomboyish. Kind of like Arya, where you could change Arya's name to Eren and have her basically do voice stuff. She's less interesting, but it would still fit with what her character does. It's kind of the same thing with the Sand Snakes.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them, but as a general, they're
the younger ones.
Right. They're excellent at fighting. They're very, very smart and very good at, I don't want to say planning stuff out, but they're very good at manipulating people, but they are very impulsive. They are very, very impulsive. And
much like their father, I'm sure.
Right, exactly, which is, I'm assuming where they get that from, that impulsive nature. But they're not stupid. I guess I don't know how else to say it. They give into impulse, but they're not stupid about it. It's like, I'm going in the store.
But they can be a little big-headed at times.
Right.
Some might say it's in danger of exploding.
Dude, don't bring it up. I kept watching that episode, and I go, oh yes, they're going to change it, and he's going to win. And every time...
My God, I couldn't believe it, and I'm like, he's like, causing him pain, pushing on his eyes like that, and I'm like...
I did in the books, too.
They wouldn't show that, would they? And, oh my God, that was...
They did. And
then...
that
was insane.
Skull it. Like this!
Like this!
But, I read through the books once, and I was like, I probably would have thought at that point Daenerys would have been my favorite, because she does a lot of cool stuff. But I read them again, and I'm like, wow, I really like Oberyn. because here's all these people in King's Landing that are being really politicky and backstabbing and, not so much lying to people, but, skirting around the edges. He just literally will straight up come to Tywin and say, I'm going to fucking kill you. Looked him right in the eyes and said that in not so many words. Like, what a badass. Just everybody he talks to, he wore his heart on his sleeve. He told everybody exactly what he was going to do and why he was doing it.
But then he got too cocky.
And
it cost him. At least in the show anyway, he got too cocky and it cost him that fight.
He just wanted him to say her name. That's it.
It's basically the same way in the book.
Right, it happens almost exactly the same, yeah. I was really worried that they weren't going to get him right because it would have been so different from the other characters, and it probably wouldn't have seemed believable. Because, again, here's this guy who just straight up, I'm going to do this. It's like I don't want to say the anti-Ned, but similar to Ned, but not as honorable. Like, he's, very, very, he wants to kill people. Ned doesn't want to kill people.
Anti-Varys?
Yeah. There you go. That's a much better example. And they did it, and they nailed it. And I might actually like his portrayal in the show better than the books. But that might be because he's actually in the show a bit more than the books. He's not in there a whole lot because he's not a POV character, so we don't get chapters of him. We get chapters of him being with point-of-view characters. Whereas in the show, you can move around all you want, and it's no big deal because you don't have to, strictly follow certain characters, and that's it. But I do hope that if they do decide to go for 8 seasons, which I'm pretty sure there'd be enough content, that they don't just spread it out just for the sake of spreading out. Like, there's a lot of other stuff that HBO can go back and do. Robert's Rebellion, the Targaryen Conquest. I mean, we could go to the building of the wall and the battle and the first men coming over.
That would be a very interesting show, just watching them lay out the wall brick by brick.
But I mean, I'm sure there's a bit more to it than that, and see... the first Night's Watch and whether
how is the wall? Is it only ice or is the core of it like a basic brick wall?
Ice.
It is 100% ice.
Right, but it's not 100% ice because there are some hills.
There's got to be stone in there somewhere.
That it's built into. No, it's pretty much all ice. Just there's anything that's man-made is ice aside from the shit on the top. It's all entirely ice. But there are mountains that it runs into that instead of building it, way high so it angles up like the mountain, it's more or less flat at the top. But then it's not 700 feet of ice. It might be 400 feet of ice and 300 feet of, the rock for the mountain.
But then they still covered the outside of that. Well, I guess we don't really see it. Yeah, and the snow and ice would build up. Naturally, on top of the mountains.
Right, it would. But yeah, it's pretty much flat at the top. But yeah, if it's man-made, it's all entirely ice. There's nothing else. It's enchanted ice, like Andrew said. It's magical ice. Because maybe the giants helped Bran the Builder build it. Maybe Bran the Builder built it himself. We don't really know. It's all mystery.
So Bran the Builder was from the north.
Help. It's a lot of ice.
Well, I mean, if he had magical help, it might have been the...
Bran the Builder was a Stark.
Well,
Bran the Builder was a Stark. They're from the north. He potentially had magical powers, magic of some form to help him build the wall.
Well, he also
there's magic in the north. Confirmed. Ned Stark's coming back.
Remember my theory that he was the horse? I was just kidding around, but
with Jon Snow because the scene they show after him dying. I don't know. Jon Snow getting on the horse.
They're really making me wonder because they keep doing these. The posters for season 6 is the Hall of Faces, or what's it called? In Bravos.
The God of Many Faces, or something like that, right? I forget now.
But the basement's full of all these faces and Arya's. They keep showing Jon's face, Ned's face, but then they also show some characters that are alive, and so it's just really making me wonder. And then you keep fucking with me and saying the North remembers. So
that's a line from the book. The North remembers, Lord Davos. This verse is almost done. My son is home. I paraphrase it a bit.
And then the biggest spoiler I've seen, because I went to the Wikipedia page for season 6. Be careful. And I was just looking, I'm like, shit, list of characters. So I looked away, and then plot, and I'm like, oh fuck, then I looked away. But it said, oh shoot, what did it say? Oh, the first episode 1's name.
Don't say it.
Okay, I already forgot. It wasn't a spoiler.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay, well then I'll tell you this, what it also said. That season 6 is mainly made up of like 90% content original to HBO and not from the book.
I figured as much
which makes me hope too then that they could extend it further because they could go back. I guess a lot of the plot is probably from the book, but then they twist it. But I'm sure there's a lot of pieces they completely ignored that they could come back to.
Especially with the last season, is basically what is major events happen that are basically the same, but how they actually occur is different. So, like in the books, Tyrion and Jorah are actually like sold as slaves, and that's how they get to Meereen, as opposed to Jorah taking Tyrion as a not slave, I guess.
Well, I mean, they didn't want to be slaves.
Well, as a good warrior.
And
it's turned out that way.
And Jorah, I don't think it's actually a character in the books, if I remember rightly, that hasn't been introduced in the show, or may not even be, that gets the grayscale and not Jorah. So that's different too, and we'll see what happens with that. It's probably more of condensing the cast. They got rid of Strong Belwas. I was really upset that there was no Strong Belwas in the show. But he's also a superfluous character who doesn't have any plot relevance. He's just a character there.
I think I already told you guys, but I found a meme, and Tyrion was asking Jorah, "Did any of them touch you?" And Jorah looks back at him, and they redid his skin as the Thing from the first Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, you told me about that. That's fucking hilarious. So. And that reminds me, I missed this before. We're going to go off a wee bit of a tangent. The Inhumans movie has officially been, I don't want to say shelved, but now has no set release date from Marvel. They pushed it back, I think, once or twice, and it's now been taken off of their official list of movies.
What was that one going to be about?
It's about, they're literally Inhumans. It's...
Well, the huge part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
has been Inhumans.
TV series is the Inhumans. Like, that's pretty much almost the main part.
And they did say that was always the plan to introduce them in there. Right, yeah. And that was the plan to introduce them in there. I don't want to say they're off-brand X-Men because that gives them a really bad rap. They're not, but they're similar. But
they're very
right.
Similar.
They have
they're copyright-free X-Men.
Well, no, because they exist in the comics and they're totally separate in the comics. What it is the X-Men have the Celestials, which I don't even know if they're going to get to in the cinematic universe or not, because this is getting really into space opera stuff that I don't know if they'll make a lot of money off of because people don't usually like it.
Celestials?
Yes.
Like nowhere?
Yes, yes. They came to Earth and they fiddled with people. They fiddled with a couple different species. One of them is people and then other aliens. And they gave people X genes, which is where X-Men comes from. X-Men have activated X genes. And they did it to the Inhumans, but they just gave them the powers as opposed to an X gene that can activate or not activate. So they are similar, but calling them the same is giving them a bad rap. It would be like saying a baseball player is the exact same as an MMA fighter. Well, yes, they're technically athletes, but, they're way different, and different enough to be their own thing.
Well, does that mean in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the obelisk is connected to the Celestials somehow, or?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. Again,
it's not really touched on.
Like I said, I don't even know if they're going to get to the Celestial stuff. I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff is probably a space opera-y, or Thor is a space opera.
Well, until we get to Infinity Wars, could possibly be
right, and we'll see how they do that. I hope
heavily
that doesn't
in
all
space
take place
even.
on Earth. I'll be very upset if that's just let's fight New York again.
Probably the first 40 minutes will be on Earth, and then they'll go into space for the rest of the part 1 and 2.
Well, they'll probably start in New York, and then they'll probably stop by Metropolis, and then go to Gotham, all within 20-mile radius.
Just across the harbor, yeah.
So, yeah, well, I saw that, and I was like, wow. So I'm not worried. Actually, it would be cool if they got their own TV show instead. The problem is there's a couple of the characters that are interesting. I don't know if it's enough to carry a show. And the rest of them are just kind of meh. Obviously, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still has the rest of Season 3, which is like 5 episodes, plus Season 4. And actually, I think they would be... No, they'd be done with Season 4 before the movie was even originally set to come out. So they still have plenty of time to build this up or to actually make it worthwhile to do a film. But I was hoping that this would work and that it would tie Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the other Marvel shows more into the movies. because it's almost like the movies exist, and then really big fans watch the TV shows too, and everybody else doesn't care. Because if you don't watch the TV shows, you don't miss anything that matters in the movie.
No,
so
I mean, and it's cool how it connects up, but it is a whole separate pot of information to take in and try
not what you tell me.
to keep in chronological order.
Well, it matters, and it's good. I've been
everything.
enjoying it. It seems to get a really bad rap, but I've been enjoying Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I enjoy it too, yeah.
And Daredevil was great. Daredevil Season 1 was good, and Daredevil Season 2 has been really good. And
That's the one that I have been watching is Daredevil.
And Jessica Jones was really good, too. So they're
No, I
novel
wish they
TV
could
shows.
take... Obviously, I don't think they'd ever take Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and put them into this, big budget films. Or if they even would have a spot in them. But I did see something, I don't remember when it was, but like Luke Cage at some point fights Vision. Or, I don't know.
I'm sure everybody in the comics has fought every other character at least
Yeah,
twice by
I mean,
now.
there's so many. How many years of comics?
Well, the official canon for Earth 616 started in 61, so you're talking 55 years now? Well, 54 and a half, because it started late 61. So yeah, and that's multiple comics being published each month.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, basically everybody's fought everybody at least twice. And then they have the Ultimates universe, which was starting like 99 or 2000, which is what the movies and the TV shows have been heavily based off of. Nick Fury in there is an African American.
Looks just like Samuel
Right.
Jackson.
Right, stuff like that. They're they're not.
I saw a panel even where he's talking with some other people about who would be played by in a movie.
Oh yeah,
Does each universe have more or less the same character then?
it's
Like the same characters throughout?
I mean, it depends.
I would think it's close. Like, I think one example is instead of having Thor as male, Thor's a female now.
Right. But
Or
that's-
Spider-Man
but
having
that's
his
after
machine
Secret
Or like-
Wars.
natural.
So,
Maybe She-Hulk. But I think she's actually a character that works
But-
with Hulk.
But
at
the
times.
female Thor actually is in Earth 616 after Secret Wars.
Well, doesn't he become Odin?
I don't
So
know.
then I
Hey,
can't
dude,
remember.
spoilers. I'm like 40 years behind this, so. But no, there's... I got 40 years yet to read. But yes, kind of, Zach, but there are some universes that are different. For example, there's one universe where Peter Parker isn't Spider-Man. It's a person named Miles Morales, something like that.
Do they both have to have their first and last name start with the same letter?
That's Marvel's thing, so yes, they do.
Peter
Stephen
Parker,
Strange, Bruce Banner,
yeah.
Peter Parker,
Susan Storm,
Susan Storm, who else?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards, yep. Well, then it becomes Susan.
Jessica Jones.
Does that count? Jessica Jones.
I'm like struggling to think of one I want to
Matt
participate.
Murdock.
Matt Murdock, thank you. That's another one. Matt Murdock. I mean, we can sit here.
Steve
all day.
Rogers.
No.
Wait.
Oh, well, if you did Captain America and then Roger Steven, like you'd find him in a list that spelled cars, and he drives a motorcycle, so maybe that was some kind of hint years ago.
Well, like the thing you told us today when we were watching the Avengers
Barnes.
happened. Stark. What was it? Stark,
Yeah, but his first
Stephen
name is
Banner,
James.
Star Spangled Banner.
Stark Spangled Banner, yeah. So, I brought up the Inhumans and we went off on a major tangent, but that's fine. So, Game of Thrones Season 6, we won't do a lot of speculation. But no, that's fine. The tangents are fine. That's cool.
Season 6, a big fucking deal.
It is. It's a huge deal. What do you think is the biggest thing that's going to happen that you think is just so ridiculous that it won't happen? As ridiculous as Bruce fucking Wayne getting lifted out of that cave by those bats. What do you think will never happen that it's so ridiculous that it now must by you simply conjuring up its thing? Andrew, go first.
Well, I can't really tell. I haven't even seen season 5
Well,
yet.
fuck you, Paul. Go next.
Ned.
I want to explain
Returns.
myself first.
Damn it, Ned. I
Yes.
want Ned. I don't care that much about Robert. Robert's wife can come back. And then Daenerys. She needs to fucking make her way across the sea already.
Yeah, she really does.
To any part. She can go to King's Landing. She can go straight to the Wall and maybe fuck up some White Walkers. She needs to do something besides giving shits about all the cities in Essos. It's getting ridiculous.
Well, that's probably what's going to happen. Is she's going to fly over a city that's getting attacked by White Walkers with a dragon, and she'll save the city or something.
I mean, because I feel like they're... What's the word for it? Is it alluding that dragons is going to be the way to defeat them because there's Valyrian Steelworks and there's the dragon class. So I feel like they're alluding to, okay, there's going to be so many, we need a dragon.
Motherfucking dragons, y'all. Zach,
Deal with it.
What?
what do you think the biggest thing is going to happen? That's, like I said, so ludicrous that by you saying it must magically, by quantum mechanics, make it exist.
Well, Jon Snow will probably... No, I think the Hound will come back to fight.
Oh, that was...
That's
that was
what
my
I
other
think
big...
is going to happen.
Clicking bull, get hype.
All you're going to say is what?
No, I'm not going to say anything.
North
about the
remembers.
Bucks, that's fine. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I think's going to happen is...
I've hoped since season 4, the fucking Hound needs to come back, and now showing, I call him Zombie Mountain, showing him the Hound's. It would
sounds
just
like
be
a rock band.
Zombie Mountain. But like it would be so cool to have these brothers, duke it out, and like the Hound's the only one who can defeat them, even though I guess he doesn't really contain any.
Well, they had a little fight in season 1. I feel like it would be cool if near the end of the series they fight again.
But that wasn't really like a real fight. I would like to see them go at each other trying to kill him.
Like fight to the death.
Speaking of that, Andrew, what was it? The Crusaders King thing that I don't know if it was you or you saw someone did something with the Hound and the Mountain. What was it? It was something where they had to fight each other and it ended up being like someone named so-and-so as the Mountain as their champion, so if the Mountain won, or the Hound named the Mountain as his champion. So if the Mountain lost, he died and the Hound got the land, and if the Mountain won, his champion won and the Mountain got the land. And then the Mountain named the Hound as his champion, so if the Hound won, the Mountain got the land, or the other person got the land, and then if the Hound lost...
Is this a logarithm? What's going on?
I'm lost, yeah. Is a lot about loggorithms, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is programming. If the Hound wins, then, else if the Hound loses. I'm confused.
No, it's like they were fighting over a dispute, I believe, and the dispute was who would rule some county. And the guy who was trying to get ownership of the county named the current head of the county as his champion. So that he would...
Very clever.
If he lost, he'd inherit it, and if he won, he'd win it.
That's funny. So, what I think's going to happen is, this is going to get really, really specific. Episode 8, Dany comes in and walks on Westeros for the first time. I don't know if she ever technically has, with her dragons. And then her dragons are coming with her. She's got all 3 now. And there's a Dothraki horde behind her. And then
on a boat?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're going fast, and...
Going fast, and...
And episode 9, their big sort of penultimate episode, is going to be her wrecking a bunch of White Walkers. But, wait, I'm not done yet. Jon Snow is going to warg into Ghost and ride one of the dragons. I'm not going to say anything as to why. I'm just going to say I read the books.
Maybe
well, don't say that, because then... Just... Or, here's another theory that's been going through my head. Obviously, I think it's safe to say everybody wants Jon Snow back. Everybody.
That's a pretty common thing.
Why? Why do you think he's going to come back? Ned hasn't come back. It's been 4 seasons.
Well,
Jon Snow's
the initial
dead.
Theory is that the Red Priest, Melisandre, she is at the wall. Jon is bleeding out, probably already dead, at the wall.
He's not bleeding out, he's dead.
He's dead at the wall.
He's dead. He's gone.
Oh, he's dead. So obviously she could bring him back. We saw a priest...
Thoros.
Yeah, bring somebody else back from the dead.
A lot.
Often,
5 times.
13? 5 times? 13?
5. I think
but then another thing that's been running through my head, they keep showing all these faces in the hall of the nobodies, and no one. The girl wants
House
to become
Black and White.
Yeah.
The House of Black. Yeah, there we go.
That's what it's called.
I thought you wanted the specific name of the room.
Another question, I guess. before I continue my nonsense statement. How do the faces end up there? Do they have to take them off the bodies that they clean? Or do they go there just by somebody dying?
No, they have to take them off the bodies.
Okay. Because like another thing I was running through, like maybe John or Ned does come back, but it's just somebody wearing their face.
That would be really cool, actually. Like, you could have
I did
Jack
see
and
a-
Hagar.
But then it would be disappointing, especially for John. Like, I could see Ned.
Yeah,
That's how
people
they-
would be pissed. If Ned came back and it turned out to be, like, not really Ned, yeah, people would be pissed. But it would be something that people would talk about, and there's a lot of shit in Game of Thrones that people talk about. Like,
It would give Sean Bean a second chance to die again in a sequence.
never been done.
But he'll do it well.
Alright, so that's our speculation for Game of Thrones. We'll just wait and see what happens, I guess, and I'm sure nothing that we've mentioned here today at all is going to occur.
This is going to be, starting tomorrow, the longest 10 weeks ever.
And I think there's going to be a gap from Memorial Day.
Oh.
They usually have a gap
Yeah.
that weekend.
So what, 11 weeks?
11 weeks.
Fuck.
Yeah. But in there you'll have Captain America that we can watch several times, so yay.
And then what was the other movie coming out?
There's quite a few.
I'll try to look it up quick.
So it's
There's
time.
Rogue One.
That's December.
Well,
That's count.
I meant like in the next month.
It's
Doctor
time.
Strange comes up before that.
It's
Right.
that comes out in November. It's time for our Andrew plugs. So we're going to basically annoy Andrew by constantly asking him to do the same thing. It has to be something: read a book, watch a movie, play a particular game, something like that. Can be done in a decently short period of time. Can't cost a shit ton of money. Can't be something stupidly specific like get all the achievements in 10 games. That's just being too big of an asshole for this to work.
Also, I do that anyway.
Right, but right, but I mean, it would be a stupid game. Like I could tell you to go out and buy fucking Madden 10 and get all the achievements in it. That's just no, that won't work. So what mine is, I want you to play and stream Lords of the Fallen for at least an hour, so you can realize what bullshit that game is. And it's not fair. People who play that game, besides me, should probably be locked in an insane asylum because they're a danger to both themselves and people around them. And I want you.
Yeah,
to
I don't know
feel
if people
that.
say that about Lords of the Fallen. They
What
say
do you
about
do
Dark Souls.
Well, Lords of the Fallen is like a crappy clone ripoff of it, so it's basically the same thing. All right, Paul, what's your Andrew plug?
God, I don't have one.
You've got to be shitting me.
Well, I was gonna say go see BV Superman again, but I don't want to be that cruel.
We don't want to make him suicidal.
But he seemed to not
Suicide
hate that movie
Squaddle.
as much as the rest.
Okay, the movie X-Men Apocalypse
Oh,
comes out May 27th.
I thought that your thing was to have him go see it. That's stupid.
No, that's the movie I was trying to
It's
think.
gotta be
And
something he doesn't
Alice Through the
wanna
Looking
do.
Glass,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I'm assuming is Alan Rickman's last movie.
Probably.
Anyway,
So, Zach, what's your plug? Your Andrew plug?
I'm trying to think because I don't want to do that anymore with the Batman versus Superman.
I
think
mean,
we can
Andrew
take it.
already does everything we ask.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, the one person I think we should have a Whoosh plug, because I always want to play fucking Minecraft, and
You're just gonna get him to
You
play
never-
games that we want him to play now.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
maybe the plug.
I just
That's
want
not
to
the
play.
point of
I just
the
want to
plug.
play multiplayer games.
Yeah, today's wish plug is let's play GTA.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
You
yeah,
gotta
let's do-
you
we
have
should
to
do
Lords of
Heist
the
after
Fallen
this.
First.
We should play Minecraft.
What the fuck?
What happened to the Andrew plug?
Yeah, really. Well, we can do that, but Andrew has to stream it first.
Oh, did you get the Humble
I'll
Bundle,
stream
Andrew?
tomorrow. How about that?
No, he'll stream it tonight.
Tomorrow.
What time tomorrow?
I don't know, like morning.
Okay, that's
Stream
fine,
Dark
'cause I-
Souls 3.
He doesn't
I
have.
don't have Dark Souls 3.
And you
Get it.
can't
Yeah.
cuss.
I got Dark
I said
Souls
it.
1. I can stream that. You
Yes. Do Lords of the Fallen for an hour, or until you rage quit, and then do Dark Souls. That's perfect. Paul, you need something. I don't have Dark Souls 3. We'll get it. That's too expensive. Buy a new car.
I just did that. Like a year ago.
I just did that like a month ago, so.
I'm poor.
You got a nice truck.
Yeah. Got a good deal on it. Oh, fuck. Andrew.
Maybe have him watch like an episode or two of Smallville. I don't know.
Well, while you're thinking, I wanted to say
Smallville
something.
is a very good show. Well, for the most part.
You want to say something, Andrew?
Continue.
Okay, so is that your plug?
What's a show you really, really does not look interesting to you?
Make him watch the.
Arrow?
No, I can't do it. That'll be
Flash?
next week.
I've heard The Flash is pretty good. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Say your
Mark.
thing, Andrew. Let me keep thinking.
Anyway, I was thinking that, like, the changes they made from the books in Game of Thrones Season 5 can sort of be like spoilers for future pod events.
Probably.
Because, like, with Sansa marrying,
Bolton.
Ramsay. So,
Bolton fucking Ramsey.
yeah.
His middle name probably is fucking.
Cutting.
I'm always fucking.
Anyway, that sort of proves that the plot point in the book, where she marries the heir to the Vale, doesn't go anywhere.
Not necessarily.
Did she marry Robin?
No.
No.
She marries,
Oh.
or she's
His
gonna
heir.
marry Harry the heir.
Oh, I never heard of him. Is he not in the show?
He's not.
No.
He
Okay.
hasn't been yet, so we'll see. That doesn't
Is he?
necessarily mean
Is he Robin's brother?
No.
Or
They're like cousins or second cousins, I think. I don't know. It's so...
His fucking
Liza's-
there's 2 whole pages where Littlefinger is explaining to Sansa
Yeah.
the fucking complex web of interrelationships that make him the heir.
It's almost like Tolkien describing goddamn grass. So, Paul,
Okay,
did you figure
can I
something
can I
out
do
yet?
a long, like, he won't be able to do it for a while.
You're gonna have to keep plugging it then.
Yeah, you're gonna have to plug. The point is,
Well, that's perfect
What the
then,
point of
because-
this plug is, it's something Andrew doesn't want to do, and we constantly annoy him until he does it. No,
You
another
have,
thing.
okay. Well, here's the only thing I can think of. Andrew, you have to go see the World of Warcraft movie,
I was
He
gonna
was
do
gonna
that
fucking
anyway.
see that
but
anyways.
you have to dress up.
Yes.
I don't
You have to like cosplay
Yes.
it. You have to. Well, you got a couple months to make your costume,
Yes.
Huge,
Fuck yeah.
huge shoulder.
and you have to like.
pads.
You gotta walk and talk just like I never played
We'll
much of
come
World
up.
of Warcraft.
We'll come up with a character for him, and he has to be like that character.
You have to be like
Well,
I'm
you fucking
hovering-
say
I'm
Sylvanas or some shit.
equipping
'Cause
my
I don't
movie
know-
ticket.
I don't know how these. Oh yeah, I quit.
Let me open my inventory as you're hit, and then you hand the lady your money.
Yeah, and I bring like 7 bags.
Do it. Yes. Fucking
No,
go,
I'm not
Paul.
gonna do that.
Yes, you are.
Color
That's
in
the
your
Andrew plug.
popcorn bag purple so it's rare popcorn, so it tastes better.
No, orange, so it's legendary.
There you go.
Thunder Fury,
Orange
Blessed
is
Blade, and the
relic.
Windseeker.
What is it? I need
legendary.
some legendary popcorn, so I have +1 to
Maybe, yeah.
appetite. I don't know.
+1 to calorie burning. Buttered popcorn. That's awesome. He's got to do it now. Just keep bugging him.
Complete
But
cosplay.
I guess what's the punishment if he doesn't?
Engrossed in the character.
Because he's going to go see the movie, he won't do it, and then we'll have to stop bugging him about it. Like I said, the Andrew plug is supposed to be, it's just annoying to him to be constantly told to do this thing he doesn't want to do, that he finally does it. But I like that. That was cool. I just wish he would actually do it, but he's a bitch, so he won't.
Well, it's not a very interesting segment if I always do it.
But you won't ever do it, so. You go see the movie in your jeans and probably an unzipped sweatshirt and some bland t-shirt on there, probably light blue, and your glasses.
Well, that's how I would
Actually,
do it.
I'm wearing jeans and a light blue t-shirt.
Perfect.
Awesome. Alright, so that's the Andrew plug. We'll get off here and play GTA, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a snack and then.
Okay, so
I'm gonna get some T-Bell.
You gotta sign off first.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can't just
Thank you
end
for
it.
watching the Geek Speak podcast.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This was the first podcast. So
Listening. Actually.
Whatever. You might be watching a blank screen right now. I don't know. I don't care. If you are driving, pay attention to the road, please. No accidents. Thanks. This has been Whoosh.
And Paul.
And Zach.
And Andrew.